Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Jamie here today. Monday Night Raw predictions for April the 17th, 2023. Things are shaping up in WWE, but at the same time, you know, we got Backlash coming up. Obviously, we just came off WrestleMania, so biggest show of the year. You know, things are going to start slowing down a little bit. I'm still into the show, don't get me wrong, but you can tell we're in sort of that, you know, after WrestleMania moment. We got Backlash coming up, we got the draft coming up, and after that, they got a lot of stadium shows lined up, haven't they? Like Money in the Bank in London, SummerSlam. I think they've got the Saudi Arabia show. They've renamed that to Night of Champions now, haven't they? So, I mean, I'm glad Night of Champions is back, but at the same time, it's in Saudi Arabia. So, we have some stuff to talk about that later on when we get into it. But tonight's show, we have one match announced and two promos / segments, whatever you want to call them. So, for 3 hours, you know, once again, we're getting back into that territory where nothing gets announced for the show. Hard to do predictions. I'm waiting for 2K23 to drop in price. As soon as it does, I'm going to buy it, and then we'll start streaming that. I mean, I could re-download 2K22, I guess. That is a possibility, but I would rather, you know, play a game I haven't played before. But once it drops down in price, I'm definitely going to buy it. But last week's show, nothing major. I mean, apart from one angle on Raw, you know, with Becky Lynch and Trish. Apart from that, there wasn't really anything major going down. But we'll get into it about last week's show on SmackDown as well. But let's just jump right into predictions for tonight, I guess. Starting off, we got Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. I'm not too sure if this is for the title or not. I don't think it. WWE.com, I mean, you know, it is what it is, I guess, but they don't list it as a title match, so I'm going to assume it's not a title match. But then again, it could be, because plans always change, right? So you never know. But we've seen this match quite a lot in the past, especially before WrestleMania. These two are good. I am a fan of both, especially Bobby Lashley. Austin Theory's rising up there, you know, up-and-coming star, no doubt about it. So this will be a good match. It's just where do we go from here? Like, if Bobby wins, does he get a title match? Is someone going to cost Bobby the match? Because Bobby doesn't seem to have a feud going so much right now, does he? Then again, he did face Bronson Reed last week, and apparently Bronson Reed was sick, so that's why the match wasn't as good as people thought it would be. So maybe they continue the feud, and tonight Bronson Reed gets involved, cost Bobby Lashley the match. Then again, like I said, though, it's not for the title, but you know, if he wins, you would assume he would get a title match. So I'm going to go with Austin Theory to win. Like I said, it'll be a decent match, even though we've seen it quite a lot. That's why I'm looking forward to this draft, hopefully. I think it's after Backlash, because you need to start shaking this roster up. And I know the brands don't mean too much because everyone's on each brand already. But I'm hoping with the brand split and the draft, like you draft people to certain shows and then that's it. There's no more crossover till like Survivor Series or something. Make Survivor Series actually mean something. But yeah, man. Hopefully the draft shakes it up. If not, we're going to have to wait till Money in the Bank. Actually, no, the Saudi Arabia show's first, I think, innit? I think it's that, and then it's Money in the Bank, and then SummerSlam. But hopefully the draft does shake things up. Like I said, I'm still liking the products, but you can tell, like I said, it's, you know, coming off of WrestleMania. You can tell things aren't as good as they were. Next up, we got Trish Stratus appearing on Raw after turning heel and costing Becky Lynch. Well, I mean, they lost the titles. We'll talk more about it in a minute. But Trish is going to speak tonight. Apparently Becky Lynch ain't going to be there tonight. We'll get more into that as well in a bit. But, you know, it all depends whereabouts to go with the storyline now, because Trish was involved inside the match last week. I'm guessing she's going to be the one to be revealed who attacked Lita, because that would make sense, wouldn't it? And then maybe we get Trish versus Lita one more time. Obviously, it's leading to Trish versus Becky, but I don't see that happening until like SummerSlam or maybe Money in the Bank. It's in London. Maybe they'll do something there. But yeah, Trish's going to speak tonight. And who knows, maybe she, you know, ends up being in Damage Control. Because I don't see Trish just being by herself. Especially with Becky Lynch apparently going to Hollywood, which we're going to talk about later. I may as well talk about it now. She's changed her Twitter handle to like a real name, and people are reporting that she's got acting gigs lined up. So Becky Lynch apparently won't be on Raw tonight. I still think she might be, but apparently she's going to Hollywood for a bit. So maybe this match gets, you know, pushed back until SummerSlam or Money in the Bank, like I said. And if that's the case, then Becky's not on TV. Trish is going to need something. And they were sort of teasing Damage Control breaking up a little bit last week. So maybe Trish takes the place of Bayley. Maybe. I mean, it's a possibility. I could see it happening. All depends on Becky Lynch, though. But yeah, we're going to hear from Trish Stratus tonight. And then finally, the last thing announced, Brock Lesnar is going to appear on Raw live tonight. Will he accept Cody Rhodes' challenge for Backlash? I mean, obviously he's going to accept it, right? That's going to be the main event, I'm guessing, unless Bad Bunny's wrestling. But yeah, Brock Lesnar tonight, heel Brock Lesnar. It's going to be interesting to see how the crowd, you know, reacts to him, because he's been babyface for quite a while now. I hope he still comes out as Cowboy Brock. I hope he doesn't, like, go back to just, you know, looking like the MMA fighter, because I did like babyface Brock, but obviously turn on Cody. I think he's sleeping. Turn on Cody, so will he accept the challenge for Backlash, which is coming up in like a month? I'm assuming he will. That's, you know, that's where the match is going to take place. It makes sense. But literally that's it for predictions for tonight. I mean, obviously I'm going to review last week's show. Like I said, let's just check quickly again if they've announced anything, you know, while we've been streaming. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Seth Rollins versus The Miz. We got another prediction to make. Oh my god. Like, don't get me wrong. This is again like, I don't want to say the booking's bad, but LA Knight, I was going to say it later, but Seth Rollins as well. Like, you got all these talented wrestlers, but it just seems like they're just coasting. Like, nothing's going on with him right now. Seth just beat Logan Paul at WrestleMania, but now, like, what's his storyline going to be now? Him versus The Miz, I'm not excited about that, to be honest. I mean, Seth is a great wrestler. Miz is okay, don't get me wrong, but But your Seth Rollins wins unless, you know, someone cost him the match and it starts a new feud. That's a possibility as well, but at least that's something else announced for tonight. I'll give him that. At least they gave us 2 matches instead of 1. So that's alright with him, I guess. Seth Rollins versus The Miz. But yeah, let's talk about last week's show. Travel issues for some of the wrestlers, so they were late getting there. Some didn't even arrive at all. The commentators told us straight up as well, which is nice of him. I gotta say though, every week I say it, I gotta say it again. Corey Graves is fine, but Kevin Patrick, or whatever his name is, he's so bad at commentating, man. He just sounds bored. He doesn't sound like he wants to be there. Like, why can't we just... I know Pat McAfee's busy, but still, even get Byron Saxton back. Even Byron and Corey, you know, they had chemistry together. That would be much better than this, but... Corey Graves is fine. It's just Kevin Patrick. I just gotta say that, man. Every time I watch Raw, it just immediately it starts getting on my nerves. Compared to SmackDown, where you don't even notice the commentators half the time, it's a massive difference. It really is. But yeah, travel issues for some of the wrestlers. Ray came out first. So you could tell he was like, you know, trying to kill time because this. Obviously, I don't think this segment was planned the way it was supposed to go because, you know, travel issues. Because Priest wasn't there either, Damian Priest. So he's out there, you know, saying he wanted things to be different with Dominic, and then Dominic comes out saying that Judgment Day is his real family, mentioning Bad Buddy's coming back, and then Balor comes out, and Dominic, I love the story they're doing now. You know, for so long Dominic wanted to fight Ray, didn't Ray finally did it, and now Ray wants to fight Dominic, and Dominic's like, no, I don't want to fight you, but Finn Balor will instead. So out comes Finn. That leads to a match, Finn versus Ray, which is like 15 to 20 minutes. Like I said, you can tell they were trying to kill time, but eventually Finn Balor won, which was good. I'm still saying he should have won at WrestleMania. Like, I love Edge as well, but where is he? Edge is gone now for how long? Like, Finn clearly could have won that match, but, you know, that's a different story, and, you know, it's gone by now. Nothing we can do about it. But Dominic hit Ray with the chain inside the match, which, you know, led to Finn winning. Afterwards, there's an interview going on backstage, and you know, the cameraman runs around and Lita's on the floor holding her head. She got attacked, and Liv Morgan and Raquel are there. Trish and Becky Lynch come running in, and of course Becky, you know, assumes it's Liv and Raquel. Trish takes Lita's place, so you can tell what they're setting up here already, which led to the match. This match though, I don't know who it was, I don't know who you put the blame on, but Liv and Raquel beat Trish and Becky for the titles, and it was so bad. This match was just not good. Like, I don't know if it's because they were supposed to go shorter, but they had to go longer because of the, you know, travel issues or what. I don't know. Like, I don't want to pinpoint one person and say it was their fault. Maybe it's just an off night for him, but I don't know what it is about this match, man, but it wasn't good. But yeah, Liv pinned Trish and they won the titles, and Becky looked sad before the match even started. Like, so either Becky Lynch was pissed about the decision going in, or she just didn't want to lose the titles. I don't know, but you could tell, like, I mean, I guess you could say she was pissed because of Lita getting attacked. But I don't know, man. But yeah, Trish attacks Becky with a sloppy, like, Becky's about to leave the ring. She barely even hits her with the you know, the forearm or whatever, and then Becky has to sell it. So not a good start to this feud, I gotta say. Sloppy match, sloppy attack. I'm hoping whenever the match takes place, it's not sloppy like this. I'm hoping it's good, because, you know, Trish is one of, well, you know, when I look back on it, maybe it's nostalgia, but she was a really good wrestler. Becky Lynch is obviously good as well, so I'm assuming the match will be good whenever it happens, but this was not a good way to start it, I gotta say. Yo, Alex, welcome to the stream, mate. Sorry I didn't have the chat up. This Monday Night Raw looks pretty awful, just same old boring matches. People actually think Becky left WWE. Oh yeah, didn't she? She's going into acting, isn't she? Sorry guys, I didn't see the comments. I didn't know we had any comments going. Yeah, I think Bronson Reed's going to interfere as well. Is Cody going to appear? Well, I'm guessing Cody will appear. We're going to hear Brock tonight, aren't we? I'm just hoping. I mean, he is a heel now, but I love babyface Brock, man. I hope he doesn't change too much. It's going to be interesting to see if the crowd boos him or not. Yeah, Rousey and Shane are probably going to take the titles at Night of Champions. That's true, that's true. But we got to wait for... Because aren't they both injured right now? I know Ronda Rousey was going into Mania injured, but didn't Shayna get injured as well? Because in the match, she only had one shoe on or something. I thought she got injured. But yeah, Night of Champions is going to be interesting, because are all the titles going to be defended? And if they are... Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn might lose them beforehand, because they're not going to Saudi Arabia. And I know they said that the Usos are going to have a rematch. I don't want the Usos to win the titles back so soon. I think it's too soon for them to win them back. So if, you know, I just don't put the titles on the line at Night of Champions, the tag team titles, if that's the case. You don't have to take the titles off Sami and Kevin Owens just because you're in Saudi Arabia, you know what I mean? I hope that doesn't happen. I think Trish is gonna say Becky Lynn, real name Rebecca Quinn, during the promo tonight. That could be it, yeah, that could be it. And Becky did say she said she wasn't gonna be at Raw, so maybe they do something like, oh, Becky Lynch isn't here, but Rebecca Quinn is here, and it's like a character change or something. I mean, they could do that as well. I'm just assuming it's her changing it because she wants to, you know, become an actor. Because didn't she do an interview like a few weeks ago where she said, oh, you know, I'm not going to be wrestling forever. I'm starting to think of like stuff to do outside of wrestling. And, you know, she is good at promos, so I could see her being a decent actor. I know she's done one, what was it, Marine 5 or Marine 6 or something with The Miz and stuff. I know she's done a film, and Shawn Michaels was in it as well, I think. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm just, last week's start of the feud, it was like the match was not that good. And then, you know, Trish attacking Becky afterwards, she barely even hit her with that fist, so I'm hoping the match is much better, but last week was not a good start. It really wasn't. Paul Heyman said that Riddle and Sammy are scared to go after Solo. So later, Kevin Owens is the only one by himself because, you know, travel issues. Sami Zayn and Riddle wasn't there. He has to fight Solo Sikoa in the main event of Raw, which they ended up making it back just in time. But, you know, credit to WWE. I mean, obviously they got credit. I mean, they got, you know, experience doing this. When things go wrong, you got to rewrite the show and stuff. But that's got to be hard, man. When most of your wrestlers who you've booked for the match is, you know, can't even get to the arena because of weather issues or whatever it was. A lot of people seeing what Mercedes Money doing right now and they feel inspired by her. Liv Morgan acting Sue and Alexa Bliss. I could see Liv Morgan. I mean, well, she already has, hasn't she? She was in Chucky, you know, the TV show about the killer doll. I watched season 1. I'm a big fan of Chucky, you know, the films, but the TV show, I don't really like it. So I didn't see Liv Morgan in it, but she was in an episode. I think she got killed as well. I'm not too sure. Alexa Bliss is the same. I could see her being in horror films as well. No idea what's going on with Bray Wyatt. Literally no idea. I'm assuming maybe it's a hell thing, because if it's a booking issue or a storyline issue, like, I don't know, man. And it's a shame because I am a big Bray Wyatt fan, but this whole return, it was so good leading up to it with the White Rabbit and everything like that. And then it just, look at it, it just fizzled out. It wasn't good. It really wasn't good. So I'm hoping maybe next month, maybe after the draft, they bring Bray back, do a little refresh, and, you know, try and build him up again and do some momentum with him or something, because I don't know, man. I don't know. The story he was trying to tell was just all over the place. It really was. And I feel bad for Bobby Lashley because he got screwed out of a WrestleMania match. He was supposed to feud with Bray Wyatt, wasn't he? I also feel sorry for LA Knight, but we'll get into that later when we get to SmackDown review. Damage Control wants Bayley's place in a #1 contenders match backstage, so Bayley goes back into Pierce's office to get it changed. So they're teasing a little bit of dissension between Damage Control. They're saying, like, you already had your title match, it's our turn now, and stuff like that. So who knows if they're going to split them up or not. Like I said before, I could see Trish joining Damage Control, and maybe Bayley leaves. I could see that happening. We don't see Drew from now on wear at Money in the Bank, then he's done with WWE. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people fantasy booking Drew McIntyre for AEW's London show in August. Like, I don't know, man. I guess you could see... No, I can't actually, no. I was gonna say maybe Drew feels like WWE hasn't done right by him, but they made him champion. Like, yeah, sure, it was during the pandemic, but WWE didn't know the pandemic was gonna happen. They had him eliminate Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble and beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Yeah, sure, it was in the Performance Center with no fans there, but like I said, like, that couldn't be helped. But they still actually gave him the push. He is a former champion now. So, I don't know, like, do you think Drew's unhappy with his position in WWE? Like, he had that triple threat at WrestleMania, which is a great match. Obviously, he didn't win, but I just don't see him going to AEW, to be honest. But I guess we'll find out, like you said. If he's not at Money in the Bank, then maybe he's not re-signed. I see Dakota Kai versus Bayley at SummerSlam, like, soon. Damage Control attack Baylor. Yeah, I could see that happening. Either Dakota or Io Sky versus Baylor. See, the way I look at it, I feel like Io Sky could be pushed as the face and Dakota Kai is the heel. Because Io Sky wrestles like a face, like, you know, the moonsault she does, and she just, you know, she wrestles like the crowd should be cheering her. So I could see Dakota Kai being the heel and Sky stays as face. Jey Uso turning face Night of Champions. See, I'm hoping that's where they're building with this Jey Uso, because you remember it all started with Jey Uso versus Roman. I don't see Jey Uso, you know, beating Roman for the titles. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do agree. I think Jey will turn. And he'll be, the, you know, the point where Roman loses. When Jey costs Roman the titles, that's going to be, you know, Jey Uso is going to be the one. Not the one to beat Roman, but he's going to be the one to, you know, be in the downfall of Roman. And it depends, like, I'm guessing they do that at SummerSlam, don't they? Cody Rhodes beats Brock Lesnar. You build Cody back up. And in the rematch at SummerSlam, Cody versus Roman, Jey Uso costs Roman the match. And then from now until SummerSlam, you've got to build up Jey Uso, you know, turning against Roman even more. Like, because Roman's been, you know, manipulating the whole family all along, hasn't he? That's the storyline they're trying to tell. So, Jey versus Solo, yeah, it could be great. They could even do Jey versus Jimmy. I mean, obviously, Usos are great together, but when's the last time... Have we ever actually seen them face each other? They might have done it years ago. Like, back when they first came up to the main roster in, like, 2010. Maybe. Or maybe not. But Jimmy versus Jey, I could see that happening. For a one-time match. I don't mean, like, a long feud. Like, you know, the brothers aren't this, so they're just going to fight it out. And then after the match, you know, they're still brothers, they're still friends. But they just have the match to, you know, get it out of the system in a way. It won't be a blood feud or anything like that. It'll just be like a one match. But that would be good to see. Yo, Austin, welcome to the stream, mate. How's it going? But yeah, Damage Control. So Io Sky gets the place inside the match, which we'll talk about in a minute. Bobby versus Reed ended up in a count out. Like I said before, apparently Bronson Reed was sick with the flu. That's why the match wasn't as good as people thought it would be. So like we said, I'm guessing Reed comes out tonight and he costs Bobby Lashley the match with Austin Theory, and they go from there. We had the Cody Rhodes promo talking about his journey so far. Sorry for losing at WrestleMania. He mentions the rubber chicken. Whoever threw that rubber chicken, man, they had good aim at WrestleMania. When Cody's just there and you just free a fucking rubber chicken get thrown inside the ring. That was funny. He said Brock thinks of everyone as victims and he challenges him to a match at Backlash. So I'm assuming Brock accepts tonight, and that's going to be the main event of Backlash, really, isn't it? Cody versus Brock. And you assume Cody has to win that. Unless they drag it out, you know, Brock, it could either go to non-contest, like Brock just beats the hell out of him, or Brock wins the first match somehow, leads to a second match which Cody wins. I could see that happening as well, but to be honest, I would just do one and done with this. I just have Cody beat Brock and then move on from there. Obviously, maybe you can't because from now until SummerSlam, you got a few months away. So maybe they have to do a rematch. Maybe I just called it. Maybe Brock, you know, it's a non-contest because Brock just beats up Cody like so much the referee has to stop the match. Maybe even get a little bit of blood. I know WWE, we'll talk about the blood in a minute, but maybe that's what happens. It leads to a rematch at Money in the Bank, which Cody wins, and then from there, SummerSlam, Cody versus Roman. It's where I could see it going, but you never know. Solo versus Reigns in 2 years. Oh yeah, 100%. Solo's definitely on his way, but even Cody mentioned it on the lead up to Mania, didn't he? Like, Solo, you're not ready yet. And to be honest, he's not main event ready yet. He's definitely upper mid card. Like, they've built Solo up so good. He's not even been on the main roster for a year yet. He came, what was it, last September? Clash of the Castle and where is it, Wales or whatever. He's never been there for a year. Look how good they've done present him as a like actual threat. I could see him being IC champion or US champion within the next year, no doubt. Not gonna lie, Impact Wrestling Rebellion last night was pretty good. New stage looks nothing similar to WWE. I've been reading about Impact a little bit. Didn't Nick Aldis, didn't he debut there? Was that the same show? And John Morrison as well, or whatever his Johnny Nitro, whatever his name is now, Johnny Impact. He had a boxing match, didn't he, which he won. So, you know, it's crazy seeing wrestlers like branch out to different sports and stuff like that. Usos beat Alpha Academy. To be honest, I didn't really care about this match, but you know, Usos are always good together, obviously. And Chad Gable, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Chad Gable, but like, it's just one of those guys where he's so talented, but at this point, it's like nothing's ever been done with him. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like his peak was with Jason Jordan in NXT when they were tag teaming together. That was a really good tag team. But yeah, speaking of Io Shirai before, Io Shirai or Io Sky, which one is it now? I think it's Io Sky, right? She won the triple threat #1 contenders match, so it's going to be Bianca Belair versus Io Sky for the women's championship. Obviously, I don't see Io winning because Bianca Belair is just, you know, people have been calling her Super Bianca now, like Super Cena, which I can see in a way. She is getting booked like ridiculously strong. Like, and who's going to be the one to beat her now? Like, this is the problem with WWE's booking. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing when you have champions for so long, but at the same time, it becomes a point where they beat everyone. Like Roman, look at Roman's beat everyone. Gunther's pretty much beat everyone. Bianca's beat everyone, apart from Rhea Ripley, obviously, but she's SmackDown champion. So, like, who's going to be the one to beat Bianca? They've been teasing Rhea versus Bianca, but if that happens, then titles aren't going to be on the line unless they unify the titles, which is, no, I don't think they will, because you got the draft coming up, so that ain't going to happen. The Honor from NXT is champion again. Yeah, Bloodlines beat everyone. Like, there's no one left. Like, Cody's the last guy, really. Like, if Cody doesn't, if they rematch Cody versus Roman at SummerSlam and Cody gets beat again, then I'll start agreeing with the people online where they start saying, oh, Bloodline's getting old. Like, right now, I'm still into the Bloodline. I'm still enjoying it. But obviously, the end has to be coming up soon, right? The Usos already lost the titles. Roman, I'm guessing, gets to 1,000 days, but then that has to be it. Because the story, like, once the Bloodline lose all the titles, you can do an interesting story there. Like, they try and rebuild, or maybe they go to the face to start becoming more of a good guys situation. Like, there's different stories you can still do with it. It doesn't mean once Roman gets beat, that's it, it's just over and done with, you know what I mean? There's different things you can do. So I'm interested to see where the next step is, but we're only going to get to that next step when Roman loses the titles. And like we said, I think Jey Uso's the key factor. I think Jey Uso's going to be the one to cost Roman the title. It would make sense, like I said, from the very beginning, Jey Uso was there. Some way Bray's facing Reigns after the Night of Champions, because after that whole angle pinning Bro Strong. I mean, yeah, I have brought that up before as well. That's an interesting point as well. Bray Wyatt, well, technically the Fiend, he was the one who Roman beat, wanted to win the Universal title, the blue title, because it was a triple threat, wasn't it? Braun Strowman, the Fiend, and Roman won that match, and that's where the title reign started. So technically, you know, the Fiend could be the one, maybe. But that's the thing, though. Like, would you want to, like, I'm a fan of Bray Wyatt when I say this, but would you want to reward him for let's say he missed WrestleMania because he didn't agree with the booking. If he missed WrestleMania because he didn't agree with the booking, you shouldn't reward him with the title, you know what I mean? If it was an illness, that's a different story. Like, it can't be helped, it's an illness, you couldn't wrestle, that's fair enough. But if it was him saying, oh, you know, you're not listening to my ideas, or I'll do more of this stuff, like, I don't know. There is a story there, though. The Fiend or Bray Wyatt beating Roman, there's definitely a story to tell. It just depends, though, really, doesn't it? Like, on the whole Bray Wyatt situation. I'm assuming we're going to see him soon. Maybe after Backlash, because, well, then again, Backlash is still a month away. They could realistically build up a match for him right now for Backlash if they wanted to. But yeah, the main event of Raw, Solo Sikoa beat Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn and Riddle made it back just in time to save him after the travel issues they were having. Are you awake now? Yeah. I'm not going out yet. Soon. So Raw was not bad. I mean, 3 hours is a lot to get through, don't get me wrong. I watched the first hour live and then I just skip through it, you know, the adverts and stuff when I get up. Is Asuka back? I'm still disappointed she didn't win. I really thought Asuka should have won at WrestleMania. There's another person who needs to be used more, Asuka, man. The Saturday night event. Wait, is there an event on this Saturday? Wait, we'll talk about last week's SmackDown as well. Started with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn coming out for a promo, talking about the draft and how people might be split up, but they're the title, you know, they're champions, so they won't be. Usos come out and say the bloodline's leveled up. This says, and you know, this is a good point. He's like, at first I thought Kevin Owens would be the one to turn, but Jay's like, no, Sami's going to be the one to turn on Kevin, because we have seen Kevin turn quite a lot of times, so maybe they're planting a little bit of seed there. Riddle came out and it started, you know, turning into a brawl. This is what pissed me off. Xavier Woods beat LA Knight. Like, what does this guy have to do? I thought Triple H was a fan of LA Knight from NXT. Like, this guy, like, he's over. The crowd love chanting along his name, even though he barely gets used. He can wrestle, he can talk. Like, what else do you want? LA Knight, man. And apparently what, he's not getting younger, let's just say. I'm not going to call him old. He's definitely not old, but in his early 40s or close to it. Like, you know, the time's ticking down, man. It's now or never. I'm not saying have him beat Roman Reigns or anything like that, but at least, you know, push him proper. Like, use him frequently on the shows. Don't have him get pinned by Xavier Woods. I know this is the build-up Woods because afterwards, you know, and get this as well, backstage Gunther and Imperium are talking and then Woods just comes down playing his trombone dead loudly. Like, I thought this guy's supposed to be the good guy. Why is he being annoying with the trombone? Like, I've always found that thing annoying anyway. But these guys were over here trying to have a conversation and you're just coming around being dead loud. It's like, what? Gunther calls him a goof, which he is a goof, to be honest. So that's why Xavier Woods won the match, because it's going to be Woods versus Gunther for the title, I'm guessing. Oh, she was in a dark match last Saturday main event. Oh yeah, the house shows. Yeah, true. Xavier's more over, but Knight needed that win. I mean, Xavier's over because of New Day, really, isn't it? That's why he's over. If it wasn't for New Day, I don't think he'd be over as he is. But LA Knight, man, do something with the guy, please. Remember how people wanted Liv Morgan SmackDown champion to pull the trigger, but with LA Knight, it's like, why not now push him? Exactly. I mean, maybe you just got it right, Alex. Maybe they're waiting until Money in the Bank. Maybe LA Knight, I mean, he is a strong contender to win Money in the Bank right now, right? If I had to put money on it, I'd say either Seth Rollins or LA Knight, or even Bobby Lashley, because them three guys feel like there's not much going for him right now. Especially Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley. It just feels like, you know, they're really talented, they're really good at their job, but they don't have anything substantial to, like, you know, sink their teeth into. So right now, early bets for Money in the Bank, I'd say one of them three. LA Knight, Seth Rollins, or Bobby Lashley. Wyatt's in the match too. That could be a possibility as well. And him teasing, well, not teasing, but, you know, like taunting Roman with the Money in the Bank for a bit. He could do something like that as well. But yeah, after that, Woods beat Gunther, like I said. We had a Judgment Day promo about Bad Bunny. And then not LA Knight, fuck, I got LA Knight on the brain. LWO came out from behind, right? They hit Judgment Day once and then got out of the ring again. I understand you're good guys, you don't want to beat people up from behind, but you hit him once and then just got out the ring, and it was like, it was kind of weird, but whatever. But from there, Damian Priest beat Escobar. Ray made the save after the match and started fighting with Dominic. So I'm assuming it's going to be Priest and Dom versus Bad Bunny and Ray at Backlash, which will be an alright match. But I don't know, man. I feel like the peak of Ray versus Dom was WrestleMania. I knew they would continue the feud afterwards, but I mean, where do you go from here with the feud? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that was the peak. But I'm still interested in it, and Dominic's so good. Talking about people who've improved, man. Dominic, like, go back last year, he was just Rey Mysterio's son, happy to be there. Look at him now, man. Look at the reactions he's getting from the crowd. People hate him. They hate Dominic. I watch Raw tonight, but I'm looking for the Trish mentioned Becky, Rebecca, which should pop the crowd. Yeah, I think you called it, Alex. I feel like she's going to call her Rebecca Quinn, and then maybe she comes out as Rebecca Quinn, and they drop the Becky Lynch thing. Maybe that's what they're doing. Or maybe it's all just, you know, Becky Lynch is going away for a bit because she's going to go into acting. It could be one of those things. It'll be interesting to see, though. I'm a fan of Trish Stratus, I really am. Just last week, it just started really sloppy, man. I'm hoping it can improve, and I'm sure it will. This is a good segment. Solo's backstage getting hyped up by Heyman. He's going through like the list of the family names, and he even says like Umaga would be rolling over inside his grave. And he gets to a point and Solo's just like, you know, tell the tribal chief I got this. I think it's one of the first times we had Solo talk. He doesn't really talk that much. But again, Solo, man, he is a star, man. He is a star, just waiting to happen, no doubt. From there, we had Liv and Raquel come out for a promo. Sonya and Chelsea came out, so I'm guessing that's going to be the first feud. Obviously, Liv and Raquel are going to beat them, and then like Alex said before, it'll be Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler who will end up taking the titles. That seems whereabouts they're going anyway. Shinsuke Nakamura made his return. Beat Madcap Moss in a whatever match. Again, Madcap Moss, man, this guy needs a gimmick. He seems good inside the ring, but he's got nothing going for him. Or if you wanted to describe Madcap Moss, what would you say? Emma's boyfriend. That's all he's got going for him. He's dating Emma. That's it. There's nothing else going for this guy, man. Give him a gimmick. Give him something to sink his teeth into. Just give him something, please. Because he seems talented inside the ring, but he's not going to get over like this. He's definitely not going to get over. So we'll have to wait and see. Main event, Solo Sikoa beat Riddle, and that's how they went off the air. So SmackDown wasn't a bad show, but you know, it wasn't so much. The biggest thing last week was Trish turning on Becca. That was the biggest thing. So we'll have to see what happens tonight on Raw. Hopefully they, you know, continue the thing going forward. But other notes to talk about, like I said, Becky Lynch apparently going to Hollywood, like we mentioned. You know, Rebecca Quinn's a Twitter handle now. So there's two ways to go about it. Either she appears on Raw tonight as her actual name, or maybe she goes away for a month to film a movie, and then Trish is, you know, got carried a feud for a little bit. But also Nick Khan did an interview recently talking about Blood coming back to WWE. Apparently he says they're in talks of doing it. Nothing's confirmed, but if they were to do it, it would be the final hour of Raw and SmackDown between 10 and 11 o'clock in America, because that's when they could get away with it in terms of like advertisements and stuff like that. So if they were to bring Blood back, you wouldn't see it until the final hour of the show, because obviously they can't do it at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever. Compared to AEW, they don't care. They'll do it any time in the night. They don't give a shit, really, do they? But yeah, I mean, we've got a lot to talk about on Wednesday in terms of AEW. Madcap Moss needs something else. Give him Reddit Moss again. Yeah, give him something. Just give him anything. If they signed with Sci-Fi to allow blood. True, I mean, I don't want blood for blood's sake. That's my problem with AEW. Like, they just have blood for blood's sake. Like, build up to it. Like I said before, if Brock Lesnar beats the hell out of Cody at Backlash, that's the time for blood. You shouldn't be having blood every single week, because then it just means nothing. You got to build up to it. It's got to mean something inside the story. I wish John Moxley would realise that, but you know, people just love the sight of blood every week apparently, but that's a whole different issue. But yeah, this week, SmackDown and Raw. I mean, I don't think we know anything about SmackDown, do we? Let's have a look. SmackDown. I don't think they would have announced anything this early for SmackDown, but I'll have a look. Yeah, I'm just seeing everything about last week's show. Usos and Zayn. Owens and Zayn's about the Usos for the titles on the April 28th. That's next week, isn't it? Yeah, I just disconnected. What? Are we still live? I don't know how the hell that happened there. Apparently with this, right, here we go. I found the SmackDown matches. Braun Strowman and Ricochet are going to face the Viking Raiders. Oh my god, I am not looking forward to that match. I hate the Viking Raiders, I really do. Just, you can tell they're just obsessed with God of War, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, how many times have you guys been repackaged and nothing ever works, but whatever. Xavier Woods going to face Gunther for the IC title. Gunther's definitely going to win, no doubt about it. And Raquel and Liv are going to defend the titles against Sonya Deville and Chelsea. So SmackDown this week, not looking too strong, to be honest. It's all about next week, really. The rematch, Sami and Kevin versus the Usos. So, you know. Oh, AEW Collision. Yeah, I was going to talk about that on Wednesday, Alex, but I can talk about it now. I think it has the possibility of being successful, but it depends how they do it. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how the ratings go when Punk comes back. Obviously, I love seeing Punk. It's one of my favorites, but obviously it's a mixed opinion in it. Some people like him, some people hate him. But I don't know about this brand split, what people are saying about AEW, where they're going to like split the, you know, the roster in two. And they're going to have like half the roster on this Saturday show and then half on Wednesday. I don't know, maybe it could work because they do have a lot of wrestlers signed. And me and Dylan complain every single week, like, where's this wrestler, where's this guy, where's this girl? So maybe that would help with having two different shows. It's going to be 2 hours as well, isn't it? 2 hours every Saturday. I don't know, it's possibility to work. It just depends on the booking at the end of the day. That's where it all comes down to, like the presentation, who's being used, are people actually enjoying it. It's going to be interesting. Like, it seems like AEW are making some big moves, but there's already people trying to ruin it as well, like Brandon Cutler and stuff like that. I love Punk, but I don't know because Actions Andrade is all over the place. Action Andrade? Andrade, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but is he, yeah, where is he? Is he even back on the show? What happened to Jericho putting him over and then becoming a star or whatever? He seems like he's just vanished as well. But you got Brandon Cutler like tweeting out, and Jericho. Apparently it's going to be Jericho versus Punk, and that's going to be the first feud, which I'm 50-50 on. Like, we seen that 10 years ago when they were both so much better, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really excited to see, but at the same time, Jericho is much better at promos than the Elite, let's be honest. Like, he's a better promo than the Young Bucks, and he's a better promo than Kenny Omega. So the first feud, bringing Punk back in, I guess Jericho makes the most sense, really, because you're not going to do Moxley versus Punk again, are you? So Jericho versus Punk would make sense. Cutler versus James Ellsworth, oh my god. I got my money on James Ellsworth, I really have. Cutler's only there because he's friends with the Young Bucks. The guy has no talent, he could barely even hold the camera. I'm a better cameraman than him, man. When I used to watch Being the Elite, he'd be all over the place. The guy can't wrestle either. He's only there because he's friends with the Young Bucks. It's like, oh my god. Jay White and Jericho in a feud would work too. Yeah, that would work. Jay White's another guy, man. Like, you bring him in, and now he's just partnering up with Juice Robinson, what they call Bullet Club Gold. Wow, what a great name that is. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what AEW do in the next few months. Me and Dylan are planning on going to that London show, All In. I just want to go in case, like, you know, Sting's retirement match could possibly happen. Jeff Hardy's back now. I mean, may as well talk about Jeff Hardy real quick. Back last week on Dynamite, Matt Hardy said he'll be back in a few weeks, and now he's back already. I don't know, man. I'm a big Jeff Hardy fan, but how many times have we been through this? It seems like every wrestling company, Jeff Hardy's done this. Well, something's going good, he gets arrested or raided or whatever, and then he comes back and it's like, it's Jeff Hardy's redemption, and then it just happens again. I'm hoping this is it. I'm hoping Jeff just gets his shit together and then he can enjoy the last part of his career, whatever, how long he's got left, man, because he's one of my favorites, but the amount of second chances he's had, it's crazy. I have Jericho turned on his team and have him as a Bullet Club. If it gets rid of Jericho Appreciation Society, because I'm over that, man. I'm sick of seeing that, to be honest. I really am. My friend said Darby Allin would fit Bullet Club. I'm not too sure about that. I feel like Darby's in the good place he is right now with Sting as like his mentor. Not his dad, like he mentioned last week. Sting's not his dad, he's just his friend. But yeah, we'll talk more about AEW on Wednesday with Dylan, because I'm sure Dylan's got some opinions on this CM Punk situation as well. But yeah, let's see if anything else worth talking about tonight before I end the stream. I'll see if I can find any, you know, up-to-date stuff. Here we go. We got an update on Becky Lynch from Fightful. Becky Lynch is legit not set to be on Raw tonight. Indicated there's no issues to their knowledge between Becky Lynch and WWE. She's dealing with a minor foot injury. She signed a brand new deal in 2021, which expires next year in June. Okay. She's already made connections with Hollywood and slated to appear at the end of a Marvel movie at some point. Right, so what? So she's not going to be on Raw tonight, but that doesn't say anything to me, really. That's just a lot of words saying nothing. How do people pay for this stuff? I don't understand. Why pay whatever it is a month for these people who claim to know anything? I could do it. Anyone could do this. Becky Lynch may or may not be on Raw tonight. Plans change. Oh, but we got more here. Tony Khan, CM Punk, and Chris Jericho had a meeting apparently as well. So, what the hell? Becky Lynch's contract's up next year. So maybe, you know, maybe she resigns, maybe she doesn't. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Calling out a real name tonight. Yeah, I think you called it. I think that's what Trish is going to do tonight. But how many people do you think know Becky's real name? Unless, you know, she says Becca, or as you're actually called, Rebecca, and she sets it up that way. But I do feel like Trish is going to take Bayley's place in Damage Control, you know. I feel it. Because, you know, Trish is great, but I just don't think she's going to be a heel by herself. And I don't think Lita's going to be a heel either, because that wouldn't make sense at all, really, would it? Unless they're like, oh, you know, Lita never got attacked anyway. But then it's like, well, why did you want to lose the titles? Weren't you glad to be champions? Like, so I don't see Lita turning heel. I think they're going to do Lita versus Trish first. And then Becky takes a month off or whatever. And then Becky comes back. And then it's Becky versus Trish in London. I could see that happening. That would be my prediction. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream now. I don't think there's much else to talk about tonight. But like I said, once 2K23 drops down in price, I'm going to buy that and I will be streaming WWE 2K23. I'm just waiting for a price cut. I can't pay full price for that game, I really can't. But once it goes down in price, 100% buying it. But yeah, thanks for joining, Alex and everyone else. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new. I'll be live again on Wednesday with Dylan, same time for AW predictions. Make sure you check that out. Hope you enjoy Raw tonight if you're watching. Until Wednesday, peace out.